name's Jade, and today we will be talking about We Were Liars by Lockhart. I've been wanting to read this one for a while because it got a lot of hype. I didn't know much about it because everyone says it's best to go into it knowing nothing, and I completely agree. It's best to go into this without knowing much. It greatly impacted me. It's probably one of my new favourite books. It's a very mysterious type of read. A New York Times bestseller, thrilling, beautiful and blisteringly smart. We Realize is utterly unforgettable. John Green, New York Times bestselling author of The Fault in Our Stars. We are Sinclairs. No one is needy, no one is wrong. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. I would give it like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Really liked it, and it made me think a lot, and it has changed the way I think about some things. It's super pretty, naked. It's got like grey and white, and then it's got like this mirror effect on the spine. So that is all I'm gonna say. If you've yet to read the book, if you continue watching this video, I'm gonna spoil you, so you should go and read the book and then come back. Okay, so I'm spoiling the book now. Leave if you've yet to read We Were Liars. The writing style was so cool. The personification of emotions, like I was shot in the chest. I was reading that thinking that he had literally just shot her in the chest, and it took me a while to like clock on to the fact that that was how she felt. She felt as if he had shot her in the chest. She would use nouns as adjectives, like Gat was coffee, Myron was rain. These are the notes I made like directly after having read the book, because I was in a state, I was so traumatized. Like I couldn't stop thinking about it, and it was so upsetting to me. Made me think a lot. Everything is very deep. I think I meant to say needed something more at the end there. That was one of my issues. I kind of felt like we went on this big journey, and then we kind of, at first it felt like we ended up nowhere, but on reflection I feel like we did get a resolution. I'll get into that more later. Just left her, was never about her though, it was about the liars. Sigh, so many arguments. And that's another thing I really like. There's so many debates around this. Like there's so many different ways you can look at it and argue it. Poor Gat. I loved Gat. Gat was my favourite character. We didn't really know him that well. The only one we really knew was Candance, because obviously we're in her head. We didn't know the other ones that well because we didn't spend that much time with them. At the same time, we felt like we know them so well. It was so interestingly done. How they were hers. She was like owning them, like they are my liars, they are my people. And she felt so protective of them. And the irony of it all, she's the one that killed them. I understand Gat because he disappeared, but what about Mirren and Johnny? Didn't she see them? I was thinking that, like, you know, she had the accident underwater and what, and she hit her head. She said that Gat just disappeared. She didn't see him for the rest of that time, but she never said anything about, I thought she said that she saw Mirren and John, because she never said anything about them disappearing as well, that she just said Gat disappeared. And obviously, I mean, that's the relevant part, but it was making me think, like, why didn't she mention that as well? Who killed them, the dragon or the dad? Caddy or the family? This is a big thing. So there's these stories throughout, and it's like, I loved those stories in the way they like reflected the book. And a lot of the time, the questions should bring into them were questions that you can apply to the book. Especially this one. This one really got to me. About how the dad would send his daughters off to the dragon would eat them to protect his people. At the end of the story, it asked the question, so who killed his daughters? Did the dragon kill them because he ate them? Or did the dad kill them because he sent them off to their deaths? The dragon ate them, and so the dragon ultimately was the one that actually killed them, but the dad was the one that sent them off to their deaths. So I'm pretty sure, getting to the end of that story, most of us thought, well, the dad sent them to their deaths, the dad's the one that killed them. And then I was like, how can we apply this to the book? Okay, who killed them? The fire or Caddy? The fire killed them, wasn't Caddy's fault. But then I thought, okay, who killed them? Did Caddy kill them or the family? In this case, instantly, you know, you want to say Caddy, because she's the one that lit this fire. But the families were so intolerable that they're the ones that led them to do the fire in the first place. They're the ones that were so stuck up in their selfishness and their greed that they couldn't see what was going on, and they couldn't see the way they were affecting their family. On the other hand, it was a stupid plan, and Caddy's the one that killed them. I'm more hesitant to say it was the family's fault because they didn't know what they were doing. They were oblivious. The food they were eating was always so well described, and they would eat like weird things. Like they were eating baby carrots on the beach at one point. It was so weirdly exotic. I thought it was like a very cool detail. Lots of the description were equally beautiful as they were terrifying. Like the witch hacking away at her brain. So the liars. Her imagination, what she wanted them to be, how she thought they would be. Would they forgive her? Were they really there? How did she imagine them? How did no one correct her when she said she was hanging out with them? I had no idea, but apparently Ariel Bissett did a video of this, and I think she really captured it well. Some people reading this came out of it and thought ghosts. these are the ghosts of these dead people. That wasn't even a suspicion that I had. I automatically thought it was her imagination. She was hallucinating. She was doing this to herself. I don't believe in ghosts, just to throw that out there. It's so different whichever way you look at it, because if it's ghosts, they've made their peace. They've said goodbye to Caddy, and she said goodbye to them. They're all okay. She got to apologise. But if they're hallucinations, they never got to say goodbye. They don't come to peace with the fact that they died. And Caddy's ultimately left more mentally ruined because she did this to herself. That was a big thing as well when I got to the end of it, and I kept saying about how there's no resolution. I was thinking that Caddy is messed up and she's gonna be messed up the rest of her life. And yet, how did no one like see her talking to herself? Notice that she was gone all the time. Like, they talked about the mess that she made. I think it'd be so cool to reread this book because you can pick up all the hints. Like, I started thinking back and there were so many hints like showing that they weren't really there. You know, the mess in Cuddleton, she made that mess herself, and that's why her mom told her that the cleaners are getting worried and that she needs to clean up because she's the one that made that mess. It wasn't all of the liars, and that's why the other liars didn't have to go to the family meals like Candace did because they weren't there. Another big thing with the whole resolution thing is that the family didn't learn. The adults, the sisters, the dad, they didn't learn. They didn't realize their mistakes because they're still fighting. You know, I feel like they're a lot nicer to each other now, but still not good people. It's still a really ugly family. But the thing is, the littles learnt the lesson. The younger generation, the younger cousins, can learn from their older cousins' mistake, and Candace can now guide them. The moms were horrible. They were living off their dad's money. They didn't have any jobs. They all went to these really prestigious schools. None of them did anything with their lives. I wanted to hate the granddad, but again, thinking about it, he wanted what's best for his kids. There are obviously things about the granddad that aren't so nice, like the whole racism thing, and how he'd like spoil their kids, and how it's like a contest to like get on granddad's good book so you can have this, 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 and this. Reading that extract when she's saying how they died, I was like, I don't believe it. She's lying. Or she said like this is how her granddad thought of it, so I thought like it was her granddad, how he thought of it as in his dementia days. Like it wasn't true, and then after a while I realised that she was saying what had actually happened. I just crumbled. Okay, let's go through. Oh, I hate these notes. I didn't like how her mom kept telling her to get a hold of herself and be normal. Be normal now, she said, right now. She said, because you are, because you can be. I hated that. You know, the first chapter is this list of what the Sinclairs are. I hated that with a passion. No, stop telling her that. I really liked how they wrote their names on the back of their hands. They were just so cute, and like how the first time he visited, he chased her. I loved the relationship in general. It was so cute. And like it's this summer island and they were doing all these really quirky things and it was amazing. Gat said something at one point. I was like, this is what I've been saying for years. I loved Gat's political ideas. Now, I'm asking how can we say land belongs to anyone? I loved how he was like, he could so clearly see what the privileges of this family had done to them. And then she told him to like shut up and he was like, I would never tell you to shut up. Then there's the kiss in the attic and it's so adorable. And then the granddad walked in and he's like, watch your head boy or you're gonna get hurt. Was obviously inferring like, step away, sonny boy. I didn't like the way the granddad looked down at him. At one point Gat compared himself to Heathcliff and I was like, no, you are nothing like Heathcliff. Don't you ever say that again. I hate Heathcliff with a burning passion, like and when their granddad and it was like, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. Obviously the granddad was traumatized, but you know, they're Sinclairs, they're perfect, there's nothing to discuss. They don't feel emotions. Do you understand, Caddy? Silence is a protective coating over pain. I understood, and I managed to erase Granny Tipper. He asked about my dad and about Gran, as if talking about something could make it better, as if wounds needed attention. That was really cute. And then we're learning more and more about the mystery, okay? And we're like, okay, something's up, something's not right here, because she said about how Gat left. I never got an explanation, I just know he left me, and so I was assuming they had some kind of big fight. Something went wrong between the two of them. I loved their motto. Miriam was be a little kinder than what you have to. That's a good one. Johnny says that he was not mad. Again, I feel like this is what her subconscious wants them to say to her. I would be mad as hell. Like, I understand it's partially my fault, but still. I'd be a little bitter, and I guess Miriam is a little bitter. I love the story. The one, because she keeps talking about this mouse, and the mouse is obviously Gat. He did not even look back at the castle that had been his home. There he would never even have a name. Now he was free to go forth and make a name for himself in the wide, wide world. And maybe, just maybe, he would come back one day and burn that fucking place to the ground. And then, of course, the next one. Look, a fire. Still didn't catch on. I knew there was a fire. And this whole time I'm waiting for a fire. And I think they talked about it before, and they talked about how they'd set the dogs in the fire. Or she talks about this memory, and she's like, I can remember Claremont burning. We burned not a home but a symbol. We burned a symbol to the ground. And like, I love what that stood for. And that's when she starts figuring things out and she starts fitting things together again. The granddad kept like torturing the mums, like that whole Harvard thing, and like they didn't realize it until after, but he was making a threat. We thought we talked. What if we said, what if in another universe, a split reality, God reached out his finger and lightning struck the Claremont house? What if God sent it up in flames? Thus he would punish the greedy, the petty, the prejudiced, the normal, the unkind. They would repent of their deeds, and after that learn to love one another again. Open their souls, open their veins, wipe off their smiles, be a family, stay a family. It wasn't religious the way we thought of it, and yet it was punishment, purification through flames, or both. I was really upset when we found out the dog dies. Like, if you're a dog lover, I'm pretty sure that would have got to you. And then we have the story, which is chapter 79, and it's kind of her, what she did and how she like killed them all. It was very upsetting. My full name is Candace Sinclair Eastman. I suffer migraines, I do not suffer fools. I like a twist of meaning, I endure. The plan itself was so stupid. Like, I was so appalled reading it. They were gonna be on different like floors. Fine, whatever. Unnecessary, but fine. The thing that I was they were just gonna like casually light their floor on fire. Then they had no idea where anyone else was. Like, she said she lit the floor and she could hear Johnny screaming from above. They do it like one at a time and like have a set time or a set signal where they all leave, or like make sure that they're all out, because she was on the ground floor. Make sure they're all out of the building before the ground floor is lit. So stupid. It could have been avoided, and it was so frustrating. And then like obviously she came to the realization and she just kept saying that like, I killed my liars. Like, that's why they haven't been talking to me. They've been dead for 2 years. Okay, I've gotten myself worked up enough for one day. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening / night. My name's Jade. I hope I'll see you again next time. Goodbye. It's a blah blah blah. I mean, plot twist and a half. Never have I ever been so like